You can't skip over the recovery just because it's uncomfortable. Just like your body gets injured and you need time to rehab, so does your heart. And this is what we'll do to break that down. If you sprained your ankle, well, you're not just going to get up and go on about your day, especially if it's a severe sprain. If you're an athlete of any kind, you've been in these situations and experienced these injuries, you know it takes time to recover. You'd follow an entire protocol. You'd rest, you'd slowly re engage different movements, then a gradual return to full use. And because we see that that applies to the heart, well, let me show you. What most people do is they take option one, and this is more along the lines of us just ignoring the wound that's there. After rejection or a breakup or some kind of loss that you experience, okay, you ignore it, okay, you keep running, hoping that more time, more money, more attention is just going to, revive the broken heart that you're experiencing. Okay. And you jump straight into the next person or distraction that just simply avoids. And this is kind of where we get the whole statement, in order to get over one man, you get under a new one. Right? Like we've heard that circulated in communities, families, circles, close friends, online in a variety of different ways. But we've also seen how that really hasn't produced the result that you actually want. Okay. And it almost always leads to a re-injury of some sort. Okay. So here's the result that we see across the aisle. Okay. And it's re injury, right? We never really dealt with the symptoms. We never really dealt with the issues. And we're back to square one. Or sometimes it feels like less. And truth is, we end up actually putting a band aid over it because it never really healed. And we just use whatever we could find to compensate for it. Okay. But then there's option two. And everything under option two gives us the ability to actually decide that we're never going to do this again. Okay. So it comes down to like a decision, seeing what we're experiencing, making a decision to say we're not going to experience something like this again. Okay. And walls go up and permanently guarded away from anybody or anything ever again. It's not ignoring it, if it's not running to other people and other things to distract ourselves, we wall up and we call it healing. We call it being in our healing era. Okay. And all the things that we might make up with it. But in reality, okay, even though it avoids re injury by avoiding all movement together, it actually is a permanent limp that we just don't need to keep. So again, we have another result here. And it pretty much sums up what you've experienced in your relationships up to this point. Okay. Well, we have isolation. Okay. Maybe you're in a position where you hate men. You're a man hater. Okay. You don't really see any kind of vision or future with relationships, right? Because you're anticipating failure, rejection, separation, loss, okay, of some sort. You kind of carry the perspective like, why do it? Because this is easily going to be the very situation that walks away from me. It's not going to last. Why try? And I must not really be suited for this whole relationship, love, marriage thing. And so then it causes us to, again, chase money, chase status, chase more rankings at your job and your business, and try to cope by ways of doing that, making yourself unreachable, untouchable in any kind of way. And the actual protocol is the middle path. Okay. So obviously there's option one, there's option two, and then there's the middle path. And the middle path is actually the one that gives life instead of constantly re injuring or avoiding. All right. And this middle path, it has stages, okay, in the same way that physical recovery does. All right. And we're going to go through these stages so that way we have these in our back pocket. And this early stage is actually considered rest. Okay. It's kind of more like a stage one instead of just saying early stage. Stage one is rest, literally. Okay. Like we have to take a moment to actually rest from from relationships, period. Okay. In terms of romantic connections and not jumping back into them. And in another way of saying rest, this is actually, not distracting, not numbing, but actually feeling and allowing the process of the loss to actually incur in our body. We got to digest it at some point because the more that we run from it, we've seen the results. It actually doesn't get us to where we want to be, it brings us further away. Okay. And so now, without needing to rush to fix it, solve it, try to hurry up and numb it. Okay. There's all this love bottled up in you that was going to this one person. Now they're no longer there. So, your body's kind of just freaking out because it's trying to figure out where can we put all this love. And so now we're in spaces where we actually need to allow ourselves to rest. Okay. And most certainly not try to lie and, say the things like I'm fine and try to prove it through, again, money, status, the pictures that we'll post on socials to convince everybody else around us that we're always on the go, taking trips, okay, living our best life, when in reality we're falling apart behind the scenes. Okay. The middle stage, okay, or maybe more so the second stage is controlled movement. Okay. Stage two, we're talking about controlled movement. And this controlled movement, okay, much like when we talked about earlier with the sprained ankle and being able to move minimally in those spaces, is the same way. And so now this is more so of a little bit of an early testing period, okay, where we're taking small, low stakes reconnections, okay. So this is small movement, low stakes, okay. We're not going all in, and we're testing whether we can hold weight again and whether you can be around people. Okay. And this is what we like to call also like a testing period. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going all the way back into the dating scene and we're going back into the dating apps and all the things, right? We're slowing down. All right. This might start as, again, open to friendships, reconnecting and rekindling with friendships and community that you probably have been building with and connecting with throughout the process of your early stages of healing. Okay. But we're not solely jumping to another relationship just yet, right? But everything is at low stakes. Maybe this is friends first. Let's just connect. No promises, no hurrying to a finish line, no use of language that conflates the two. Okay. But just simply being in those spaces where we can be around people and be vulnerable in small ways. Okay. This is really, really important because vulnerability has a tendency to grow when we heal. Okay. We're not shelled up, shy. All right. But we're giving, again, from small, low stakes testings, little at a time. Okay. We're not running into giving everything, oversharing, trying to cling to this person because we're afraid of being rejected again. No. We're just giving a little at a time. What are the things that you don't mind sharing to other people and you don't mind them knowing? And if they just so happen to possibly open their mouth and share it to other people, you're not harmed by it. Okay. It's not like it's the end of the world and you're okay. And it gives you information to know whether or not you can trust that person. Just small moments. Okay. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. Obviously, doing these things without immediately signing up for the next high stakes relationship. Okay. And so then after we are engaging in this stage of vulnerability and we've put that to the test, okay, for a few reps, okay, all this is repetition based. All right. This is how we get to stage three, okay, which is the last stage. And this is where we're on go. Okay. This is where we are at what we call a full return. Okay. So this is now where we've healed the injury. Okay. And we're going full in, full stop, back in the game. And we're informed, okay, from what happened previously, our role in it, okay, our feelings about it. We're informed. We've learned, okay, what are the things that we gained from it? What are the things that we are looking at through this lens of purpose and the pain that we experienced, right? What are some wins from it? Right? What are some lessons from it? Okay. And now we're not necessarily erasing what happened. Okay. And we're still not favoring the injury. Okay. And this is kind of more so where we give ourselves permission to get to a place of acceptance. All right. And this is actually a huge, huge transitional difference between stage 2 and stage 3, right? When we are really to get to that place of full return, we're at a place of acceptance of what was, what happened, what we experienced, and now accepting of what this is now, how we need to move forward without repeating the same experiences, decisions, mistakes that we had last, without living in fear of repeating those same decisions, but trusting what we've learned and what we've grown from it. Okay. And the mistakes that many high achievers make, okay, specifically in this space when it comes to healing, doing relationships, and all the things, is skipping straight to stage 3. Okay, because get this, as a high achiever, you want to get to the win, right? You want to get here. This is where all the action happens. Okay, and you might use terminology like, "Hey, we just need to push through." Okay, this is what you tell yourself: push through, handle it like a G. Okay, all is good. We're fine, right? And you're powering past pain. Okay, and you're treating rest like it's weakness, right? Stage 1 is really unfamiliar with you because you're like, rest? Nah, gang, I want to go, right? And a lot of this is determined or at least seen in the lens of weakness. Like, I don't need to rest. I'll rest when I'm dead, right? Or I got too many things to do. I got too many places to be. I'm too cute for all this. And that's really the perspective that's actually hurting you, not helping you, because it's causing you to continuously re injure this instead of dealing with it healthily. Okay. And by skipping early stages, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're resilient. In truth, it just means that the injury is chronic. Okay. There's actually a deeper injury that is present that we have to actually heal in order for us to have different lenses to this middle stage that we really need to be at, that gives ourselves the appropriate amount of time and reps to digest what we experienced so that we become better instead of bitter. Okay. And this isn't to say that these stages have to last a lifetime or that this has to have, a 90-day period. Okay. Some people heal through things faster than others. This isn't to say that you have to stay in one stage longer than another, but pay attention to the signs of each transition. Okay. Stage 1, you're feeling. Okay. It's not a weakness. I'm embracing it. All right. And so you might give yourself time to cry, be sad about it. Okay. But once you come to the realization and awareness, all right, that, hey, you know what, we've allowed the emotions to flow, and this isn't who we are. This is just a season, and something good's going to come out of this. We transition into stage 2. Each decision, each space gets to a place of acceptance. Acceptance is the differentiation of each stage. When you get to the place of accepting the loss, acknowledging the loss, now we get to stage 2. Okay. And this acceptance, okay, gives us the ability to start recovering. Okay. What do I need to learn? What did I miss? What do I need? Recalibrating these things. And then when we get to that place of acceptance with stage 2, as we're getting around more people, slowly integrating, we get to stage 3. And this acceptance takes us further into a full return. Okay. And instead of skipping the stages, okay, we're actually present with them. And real recovery is not a straight line. Okay. We're not just going straight into it. All right. But it does have a shape. And knowing the shape means you stop being afraid you're stuck forever every time you're still hurting 3 weeks later. Okay. It's not that you're stuck. You can't get over it. This is going to be my life. I'll be for alone forever. We have to be mindful of these stories, y'all, because that is actually the thing that's causing us more pain than really what we feel we lost. To be honest, it's very possible that 3 weeks is actually you stepping into stage 2. It's very possible that for some of you, depending on how long the relationship was, okay, maybe it's 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. If you were in a relationship that, was 3, 4 years, all right, a nice little formula to keep in mind. Like for every year you were in a relationship, take 2 to 4 months to recover. So that's just a nice little rough outline you can keep. Okay. It's not necessarily something that's foundational, but something that can be really helpful to have like a rough guideline to the process you need to heal. Okay. So, but because it takes you a little bit longer than someone else doesn't mean that you're failing. Okay. You're actually on schedule, you're on pace, and we're moving along. All right. And this is exactly the recovery arc. Okay. That I'll walk through on the emotional side of a video that I've created that is a framework here, a cornerstone video that just helps us understand a deeper root struggle challenge behind a lot of the things that we're seeing here that even may get us to feel like resting is weakness. That might even get us to feel like we need to rush and hurry to stage 3 because we just need to push through with this achievement mindset, right? I can't be here too long. I don't have too much time to waste. All of that is actually at the core of the problem that we reveal in that video. Okay. And if you're in the middle right now, that video as well will meet you in that space. Okay. And so be sure to go watch that. It should pop up on the screen somewhere. Please be able to check that out. And then the next time, we're actually going to close a loop on this entire series that we've been working through, just setting some foundational pillars to you healing as a high achiever. Okay. And more importantly, being able to make healthy decisions, relational discernment, so you can invest in relationships worth protecting. All right. And we're going to close this all up by acknowledging the pattern connecting every relationship you've been hurt in and the one belief underneath them all to make this all make sense. So be sure to subscribe, turn on your post bell notifications so you can be there for that. And I'll see you then. Peace.